And now let's work on the Z. For the Z carriage, we'll need this thing here, the one with the E, which the E will be on top, just like that. We need a stepper motor, the Z stepper motor. This one. We need a coupling. Let's do the motor part first. Okay, so same thing with the X motor. We have our motor bracket. There's pin nuts behind this. We want the wires facing this way because the Z motor is going to be directly down here. We want the wire to face towards the motherboard. And we're going to secure it with the 440 nuts, or screws. Let's just tighten every single one down. Put the coupling on. Let's not do that yet. We have our threaded rod for the Z carriage. This was the problem that I ran into. Some of the coupling does not actually tighten all the way up. Let's see if this one does. Nope, this one doesn't also. So what I did was, what basically you need to do is just take a metal piece of wire, wrap it around the lower end of it. That way it gives it a nicer fit into the coupling. What I did was I just took, and it worked perfectly, just a spiral wire from a notebook, which is this here, and wrapped it around the threaded rod to give it a, this was the Z problem, the coupling problem I ran into. It should be wrapping up actually. And the longer the wire, it's just going to be easier to deal with. You're just going to wrap it around. Pull it nice and tight. I mean, even if your coupling does fit good, I would suggest doing this also. It's just more, I guess, tension space or area for the coupling to, you know, press against. But this works really good. Tried using a wrench every way imaginable to try to twist the screw inside the coupling, but it didn't work. You know, I tried a lot of things, you know, electrical tape, a lot of other materials, but this works the best by far, because when you press it down it kind of like expands, and then yeah, kind of presses it up and down in between these little grooves here, against it and up and down. So this is about maybe, you need about 10 inches. This is about maybe 15 inches. And I'm not going to need all of it. So that way it'll just look like this, and I could just twist it into position there. when I cut it though, I'll twist it like this. That way it's all the way at the bottom. Yeah, I do, yeah. Even if your coupling does work, this way is actually even better. Because I tested it both method, and this does seem to help. But where's my pliers to cut it? Where did it go? Not sure why I put it back in my toolbox, but here it is. Let's cut it right here. Let's just press this back down. And I don't think we need that much. Yep, it's nice and tight already. So what I'm gonna do now is, let's tighten it, unravel it, and then cut it. Let's tighten it. There you go. Wait. This thing came up on me when I was twisting it. Alright, let's put it in. There you go. Let's tighten it. Yeah, in the future I would find a better coupling. The manufacturer kind of slipped on me on that one. Nice and tight. It's not going anywhere. Now I just unravel it and cut it. Yeah, this thing is nice and tight. It's not going anywhere. Now let's put it to our stepper. Just like that. Oh, you know what? Let's not do that yet. Let's go ahead with the Z entry here. So for this one, it's going to be facing like this. So let's do it like that. Let's position it like this. We need 2 of these rod support. So if it was facing this way, we want the tabs to be towards the back also, just like that, for the rod support. This tab towards the back of the Eventorbot. Then we need our Z carriage, which is this piece here. X carriage, which is this piece here. And the back plate for the Z carriage, which is this piece here. The linear rods for the Z carriage is actually the shortest one. And I think we should do this. No. Move it up so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. That's in. That's in. Let's put our plate on there. For this one, for the bottom there's only one screw to it. So let's line it up. There you go. Top screw for the top hole of the, it's supposed to be the hole on the gantry is supposed to be for the top of the rod support, but it's also a 3/4 and 3/4 1032 3/4 inch screw, and also with a standard lock or standard nut. This pulley fell off. Let's put this back, or the linear rod. Just get in there. Down. Almost the same thing as the X. Move the rods in place there. And it looks like this. It's only one screw again. Now we use the Z carriage. It will go like this. You can see it, the portion that's missing down here. This is actually pointed towards the bottom of the carriage. So it's supposed to line up like this. Like that. Yep. So the portion that's missing, we're going to point it down because the E's on top. I'm just going to slide it in there. Pop it in place. We don't need the bearings now, but I'm just going to do it anyways. So now we need the other 1032 1 3/8 screw and 2 lock nuts. This is a crucial part here. Also 2 number 10 washers, which is the smallest. You'll have 4 of them. The smallest washers in the kit there. You have 4 of them. You see that? Yeah. Smallest washers you'll see. And what we're going to do is just put the 2 washers in like that because we need the spacing. Like this. We're going to put it through our Y carriage just like that. And we're going to put it towards our Z carriage just like that. Of course the flat part is facing up towards the E. We have to lock it down, and this is the crucial part. The tighter you could get this, the better. This is probably the most crucial part of the build, is to tighten this down. Use the right Phillips. Again, if you have one of these, will be helpful. Something to hold down the screw, and let's start tightening it. Again, you want it very, very tight. Tight as possible. What I'm going to do is I'm going to check it with this here. Use the right Phillips head for the screw so you don't strip it. It's pretty tight. And that's pretty tight. Triple check. It's more torque to it. There you go. Nice and tight. It's not going anywhere. Alright, now we have we put on the other rod support. Again, the tab facing towards the back. That's where we're going to channel down all the wires to and have let's put the push button switch to it. I already labeled this one. Or no, that's not it. This is the Z thing here. This. So just go like that. It's basically putting the switch on the rod support here. You don't have to tighten it so much. It's not going anywhere. These switches are tricky. I mean, if you do try to solder them, you gotta be careful. You don't want to melt the plastic to it. Alright, nice and lined up. Where's the backing for the rod support? Here. Snap on like that. And as you can see, I mean, we only have one screw on that rod support there, and it's holding the linear rods in place. These are also 3/4 with a standard nut. We have 2 standard nut here and 2 3/4 here. Three-quarters, yep. So we're just gonna push it through like that. Yeah, so I'm actually going to try to have kind of like an install manual. That's something I have to work on. I should have some time next week since we're just waiting for the second batch now. Nice and tight. Now we put the back plate in for the Z carriage. Put the bearings in position, just like that. Oh, you know what I did? Put the plate on backwards. It should be facing the other way. So those little tabs should be facing the tabs of the rod support there. So it goes like this. There you go. Quick change. Now we tighten it down. Just slightly. Don't need that much pressure. And there we have it. Our Z-axis. Nice and tight. And the tab hitting the switch. And now, let's put the rivets on the back plate of the Z carriage, just like that. Line it up first. There you go. And that's what we have so far. So the tab, you should have the tab facing the back also, so it could hit that switch when it hits home or its max point. Now we put the motor in it. That's why I didn't tighten the motor yet, so it'll be easier just to screw this in here. So you want it about just a little bit past halfway. That's how I like to do it. I think it's maybe a little bit more. So we have room to do the bed. So now we're done with that. Just kind of put this on there like that and tighten the coupling to the shaft of the stepper motor. Nice. So, there we have it. So now, basically, we're almost done. This wire will go down through here. Two wires. Let's keep this out for now. Let's put the thermistor and the resistor wires for the hothead in. So we have it running. Let's label it. I have I'll call it an HT, and this one HR. Hothead resistor and hothead thermistor. So it's basically just gonna run up through here, through this hose connector that we did here. There you go. We'll just keep it like that for now. let's label that already. The polarities are correct. Alright. I have that. I think that's it. Let's install the X carriage. This wire out like that. This belt should be inside like this. We could wrap it around the X pulley for now, just like that. This wire should be back here, and alright, let's push this towards the back so we could see what we're doing here. And this would just go in like this. Gonna have to squeeze both the belts. Go up like this. There you go. Let's secure it with one screw for now. It's 832 1/4 inch with kind of like a bevel thing like that. 1/4 inch 832. Screw through the frame into the gantry, into the pin nut. Let's do another one for now. So that's in. Good. Now, we still need to do the motor, extruder motor. Yeah, let's do the extruder motor. That way we could run the wires for the extruder motor also. So just face it like this. Extruder motor. The wire's not gonna be long enough. You could cut some wire from the Z-axis or maybe the Y-axis to lengthen it, but you're gonna have to cut it. Cut the end off here. The polarity on this is also correct already, because the reason why we have to cut it, because we have to fit the wires through this small little hole over here. I believe that's the hole. Yep, we're gonna have to fit it through this hole over here. Also, if you're gonna run the fan for it, which I suggest for this motor, you would need that too. The wires of this also. Cut it, extend it, and put it through there. I'm just gonna do that later. But let's do the extruder housing. We have these two plates here. This one. And we're almost going on an hour already. This one fits together like that. Snaps in like a box. And you'll need one of these 5/16 nut. Or screw. Screw. You'll need two of the 11/16 washer. Two of the... No, we don't need, just two of these. We will also need a bearing. ball bearing, a hose connector, and I think that is it. What we're gonna do is this goes like this. So the hose connector is gonna screw right onto this thing. This hose will connect to the hot head hose over here, and screw this in. There's also pin nuts in there. We're going to screw it in like that, just a little bit. We're going to put one washer in. Hope that motor's okay. One washer in. E-bearing. And then the other washer on the other side. You don't have to screw this 5/16 nut all the way through to the other pin. You just need to screw it to the pin so that way the washer just doesn't fall off. I don't do it. Just gonna do this here. There you go. That's our extruder houser. Now let's put this together. We have 440, these long 440 screws. It's 1.5 inch. We have that. We're gonna need 4 440 nuts. Just standard nuts. We have this motor here. I kind of want this to be facing kind of down and to the right, or should I have it down to the right? Yeah, let's do that. Down to the right. That way our heatsink could just sit right here, because this thing is going to be blocking our heatsink. So down to the right. Show you guys when I get done. This thing goes right on there. Let's put one 440 in for now to secure it. Is it down to the right? Yeah, let's just do it like that. Well, let's do it down here first so the motor could be held in place. I'm juggling everything here. And these 440s are actually 1.5 inch 440 screws are Phillips. Just like that. Let's do one over here. Just gonna hold it right there and then tighten it like this. Good enough. You don't want to tighten it too much now because you're gonna have to adjust this thing back and forth like that. I tightened it too much. You're going to adjust this thing back and forth to fit your filament, and depending on whether you have 3mm or 1.75mm filament, you have to adjust it for the correct tension for the gear to bite down into the filament there. I just want to mount this for now so that way we can run the wire, because this we could adjust it and do everything later afterwards. even if the unit's already assembled. Oops, I tightened too much. Sorry. These are the 2 screws I didn't tighten yet. Once we tighten that, that would hold the gear section motor in place. Just tighten it for now. And we have... Alright, let's put this wire through. Yep. Run the wire for the heatsink also. I don't feel like stopping right now and running, extending or splicing this wire and extending it, so I'm gonna have to do that later, but you could imagine it'll just be like that. Let me cut it into this, and it'll just go in through here, so we'll have the wire for that. Let's run everything down, and I think we are good to go, guys. Just clean up a little bit here. Keep these 2 things. And I am going to put the Z gantry in and run the wires, and then we'll finish the rest, the bed and everything else, which is easy because we don't have to work within all this stuff. So what we're going to do is we're just going to hold the C carriage like this, and this is for the... Just going to slip everything through. This is for the hot head resistor. This is for the hot head thermistor. Oops, forgot to put it through the first track. This is for the switch. Went through the top one but not the bottom one. I have to replace that pin. It should just snap back in actually. So we have that wire. We have the wire for the X motor, which is labeled. We have the wire for the X switch, the switch, momentary switch for the X axis. And you know what? I'm gonna just stop it here because I need to extend the extruder wire and the heatsink. I don't want to put it together right now and then have to take it apart later. Take this board out. So basically, after you do that, you're just going to put this aside through here, and you gotta face this side of the motor towards the back of the Eventorbot because we have to secure it down. After we put this in position, and this wasn't here. The wire was long enough for me to pull through. And then we basically glide this gantry in. Gotta pick it up a little bit because I have to throw that screw down there. What's going on here? There you go. Just like that. But I'm gonna take this out and then just tighten it down like this with these two with the 832-inch screw, and over here there's 2 holes over here too. So there's 4 832 screws per gantry to secure it down. But I'm gonna take this back out because I need to run this wire. Oh, I see it here. The extruder wire was in the way. Yep, so I'm gonna go ahead and extend this and call this the end of this tutorial, and we'll work on the bed and everything else in the next one.